I'm just going to launch straight into this. Welcome to Sovereign Artsakh. I'm a non-Armenian, and most of you watching this know. I just have to repeat this because every now and then there's somebody who's never watched one of these videos, and that I know because the subscriptions keep going up and the viewership overall keeps going up, except in these low production value episodes. On Saturdays, for those of you who don't know, on Saturdays I do a video that's more like the norm. You know, when I started doing this, it's a little higher production value. I get to sit up at in my edit bay and you can read along with me on the screen and I can show you stuff. But because I'm super busy right now, I'm just doing them like this, and it's a bit humbling because you get to see my awful hair and you get to see my wrinkles and my stretchy skin, and so it's just like, this is the real me, this is life, and I'm being totally straightforward and honest. I'm not some people have accused me of being paid by Armenia or something. That you tend to, when people falsely accuse you, sometimes they're just looking at the only thing they know and accusing you of the same thing, right? The Turkish trolls. I don't know. There's Ozgur. Gosh, I think that's how you, Ozgur. I don't know how you pronounce your name, Ozgur, but there's others, and they're clearly just, I don't know about Ozgur. He says stuff that I agree with on occasion. It's particularly about China, but then he's stuck in a rut, clearly just siding with his countrymen. And you can't necessarily blame a guy for siding with your countrymen unless your country has a history of aggression and falsehood and believing a revisionist history. Revisionist history. I don't know. I had things that I was going to talk about in this episode, but let's talk about that. The revisionist history of the nation of Turkey and its allies. And so I would lump Azerbaijan and Turkey together because it's always been the plan to unite those two countries, to squeeze out Armenia completely, wipe out Armenia. And so when you believe a lie for over 100 years, it's a corporate sickness, right? As the nation, say you have an injury, a wound that you don't get treated, right? You get a deep cut, and then you just stitch up the top, and the injury, that uncleanness, it'll fester, it'll get infected, and it'll over time it will rot. And so when you have an entire population that have been taught falsehoods, blatant falsehoods, Ataturk, I don't know if Azeris regard Ataturk highly, but Ataturk, Mustafa Kemal, essentially what he did is he stitched up the wound without cleansing it out, right? By rewriting history in his great speech in 1923, the beginning of the Republic of Turkey. He completely rewrote the history. He left out the brutal massacre of the Armenians, and so that history is just omitted. And when you have something so dark and sinister in your history, and the rest of the world knows it, in particular the Armenians, It wasn't a complete and total genocide, and as a result, the truth got out. I mean, the rest of the world knows. The British had Red Cross and missionaries all throughout the Ottoman Empire. If you really want to erase history, you would have had to have killed all those people too. Those people reported back to home what they saw. I've been in the archives. I've read it. I've read the original documents of those who watched and witnessed these massacres. So it's not a matter of it didn't happen. And if you're going to, Ozgur and others, if you're going to argue about numbers, the high estimate is 1.5 million. The lowest estimate I've ever heard of Armenians that were massacred is 600,000. All right? If you split the difference, you're still over 1 million people, right? The high, the low, it's still over 1 million people massacred. So if you want to argue about the actual number, then you're actually that's a red herring. It's distracting from the truth, right? Why argue over what the actual number was? It was a genocide, right? Another thing is, sure, there were Armenians who were resisting, right, that were fighting against their Ottoman overlords. Well, if you're oppressed, right, if you're an oppressed people, certainly you're going to want to resist. And so to use that excuse is like, oh, they were undermining the Ottoman Empire. Oh, so you should massacre all of them? Because that's what they did. It is a mess right now in Armenia, and and it's a mess in America right now. And so I record these things every day just to update you on my observations and what's going on with me and the Soghomon Tehlirian memoir, and that's the project I keep mentioning, that when this project comes to fruition, all of this will be exposed. And so you who are watching are kind of going on this journey with me, and it's a long haul, right? It takes a long time to get a project like this made, but it's progressing, it's moving forward. There aren't setbacks, right? It's not like it's not going to happen. It is moving forward. I've got people that have been waiting, people that are involved, and others that are waiting on their turn, to help with, whether it's producers or potential investors, or it's like, it can only happen at a certain pace. Certain things have to happen. So thank you for bearing with me. The nature of this channel is, it's like the first fruits. You guys, you Turks and Azeris, I hope you stick around. I know my Armenian friends and my Christian friends will continue watching these daily videos. Ozgur, I hope you stick around to see what's ahead. And I know there won't be more, but I can't wait to get down the road. The numbers keep going up, and you guys will have bragging rights to say you were here in the beginning. And this isn't about me. It's just I get to be a part of this thing. I've been instrumental in bringing it to pass, but I honestly feel like it was inevitable that this story was going to get told no matter what. It just so happens that I got to be a key figure. It's humbling. Like, why me? I'm not Armenian, but I mean, I think that's part of why, right? If Armenians just tell their own story, the Turks can continue denialism. It's like, oh, those Armenians are always complaining. But if I, representing the rest of the world that's not Armenian, see it, then people will pay attention, and the Turks won't be able to deny it. I mean, so I just want to finish with this as well. It should be obvious, but when I use terms like the racist Azeris and the racist Turks, I am just talking about those who are racist, because not all Azeris and not all Turks are racist. I mean, some of you guys watching this, some of you that comment on this channel are racist. The Azeris and Turks who think Armenians are dogs, you're a racist, right? That's like supposed to be the worst thing a person can be. But to be racist is actually just ignorance. To be racist is believing a lie, right? There's only one race. It's the human race, right? Just like dog breeds, there are canines, right? All are dogs. And then there's St. Bernards and Chihuahuas and Dachshunds and Doberman Pinschers and you name it. They're all dogs, and they can all interbreed. They're all essentially the same essence, the same nature. Dogness. Humanness. We are all the same. So stop being ignorant. Believe the truth. And keep watching. Share this video and subscribe. I don't know if this was interesting for anybody else out there, but I know it's interesting for some of you. I've got to go home and go to sleep, and tomorrow is going to be a long one.